Hey, Tom here, Flip Anything USA. So just occurred to me, I want to show you guys something. Take a look at the traffic here. This is the difference of the going home side of the road. These are people going home, okay? And now look back behind me too. Yeah, you can't really see, but there is a long line of people behind me, because this is why, and I've shown you before, you'll see in towns where it's quite dead as far as unoccupied, vacant buildings on one side of the road, and then on the other side, everything's kind of full, either 100% full or mostly full. And that's kind of why. And like here, look again. Look at all this traffic lining up to head home, and then look at coming toward me. Nothing, okay? And actually, that's one of my properties right there. And it's on the going home side of the road. Okay, I always buy on the going home side of the road because that's when people have the most time to stop. You have time to stop on the way home. You don't necessarily have time to stop on the way to work. Now, unless you're getting breakfast or coffee, like a Starbucks. Starbucks makes sense on the going to work side of the road. Absolutely does. And that's where they usually are. It just occurred to me because there's a building I just passed, and I'll attach it to this video or something later on. But it's a building I could have bought, and I just didn't really want it from the very beginning because it was on the going to work side of the road, and it's a gas station, and you know it's just and there's not everything has to be there, but there's just certain businesses that just don't lend themselves to being on the going to work side of the road. And now if you're like, in an area that's kind of like not on the main drag where you're going to drive to work and from work, that's different. You can kind of be on either side of the road there. But what you don't want to be is, like there's certain thoroughfares that if you have to turn left and you got nothing but a huge caravan coming towards you in the opposite lane, you're not even going to be able to turn left to get out. And likewise, if you're on your way home and you want to stop there, like the dry cleaners is another place that really should be on the, that can maybe be on the going to work side of the road, but I think more likely, I don't know, maybe I don't know enough about the business, but you probably have time to pick your stuff up on the way home, and maybe you got time to drop it off, not necessarily before work. So that's one that I'd probably, and my guess is you'd want that on the going home side of the road. But what I was going to say is it's not exclusive. I mean, you can get an area where it's kind of balanced on both sides, and that's fine, where there's good access to get on and off. But if you get a stretch of road where there is no center divider, and there's not overpasses and places to ways to drive around and go under, you're going to find that one side of the road's usually going to suffer. Like if it's a main thoroughfare that's through a small town on the way to a bigger town where everybody goes to work. So, but what made me even think about this is that it's right now it's 6 o'clock in the evening. So this is like the busier time for heading home. It probably was even busier half hour before this, but before this time. But I drove by a building that I could have bought at one time, and I just was never excited about it. Well, somebody did finally buy it here. I mean, I could have bought it 3 or 4 years ago. Well, they gave it they added on to it and gave it a facelift. Still hardly has any parking. It looks like it's going to be a convenience store and gas station. That's what it had been before. And man, they were going broke. The people that own that store have been going broke for the last 20 years. And there's probably been 3 or 4 different sets of owners because it has been such a terrible location for such a business. Well, now somebody else is opening up, and in all honesty, I wish them the best, but I doubt they're going to do much better, because even on my way driving by their new store, new to them anyways, and refurbished, it looks beautiful, did a beautiful construction job on it. There's convenience stores on this side of the road that people pull off, grab gas, grab a gallon of milk, carton of cigarettes, or whatever they need on their way home. Those places are busy. Now, maybe they'll get a little gas business pulling in and back out, but sometimes some of these narrow properties that are narrow roadways that don't have a center divider, it's hard to get back on the road. I mean, even if you're going in the same direction and you pull off to get something, just to merge back in sometimes can be a pain if they're kind of bumper to bumper slow. And like that road actually tends to be that way. That's all. I'll do another good video one of these days on the going home side of the road versus the going to work side of the road. It's something I consider all the time when I'm looking at property to buy. I always look at that. In fact, I saw another property, actually. I damn near did a video. If I'd have had more time, I would have. This was a property that was on the going home side of the road, but the problem with it was in a big turn, big arc. Now, in other words, like right now, you'll see I'm coming into a turn, right? And we're curving. Okay, well, this place was like that. It was on the right side of the road, but it was a disastrous property because in order to get out of that property, you couldn't see what was coming around the corner. So you felt like you're taking your life in your hands to pull out of the property where you just got, whatever you bought, a Coke or groceries or whatever. So it was a terrible property to get back on the road because you can't see what's coming around the corner. And people are still going 60 miles an hour. And so, it's and also, or like when you're pulling out onto a road, when you're pulling out onto a road and you look over and they're just coming up at the crest of a hill, top of a hill, and now so you're about to see them just appear, and you're pulling out right when they're appearing and they're going 60. It's not good. It's kind of like that. Just before you know it, the moving traffic is on you, and it can be unsafe. So, but just something to consider. But yeah, those properties that I was on, I thought, God, I would love that building. I would love that property if it was just on a straightaway instead of this curve where you can't see the traffic coming to get in and out of. And it was also just as scary to be heading to work, like you're heading to the work, and you want to turn left because you can't hardly turn left because people are coming around that curve as well. Just a scary, bad situation. And not only that, the land was a little bit elevated up to make things worse. So you're like, you're not even flat where you can just kind of stomp on it. You have to compensate and slow down before you enter, bank and then level out into the street. So a lot of negatives on that property. But anyhow, just want to share that with you. And that served as a good example sitting in the traffic we were just in. I'm looking for a publisher now. I'm looking for a literary agent for my book. Decided I'm not going to self-publish it. A lot of people don't have the same credibility as I have on writing a book, and so I know I should not have much trouble, and I already have a couple literary agents looking at it, and which is probably a better way for me to go. After talking to some people that actually published a few books, they said, Tom, you ain't going to have any problem getting your book published. They go because I have done so much of what I discuss and what I've written about. I use real examples and that sort of thing. So, hey, that's it for now. I'll just throw something out here just so you guys have something to watch. And just a teachable moment. Wanted to share it with you. So, be sure to share, subscribe, and please hit that notifications button. I don't do many live events, but I'm looking to do some soon. And if you want to know when I'm coming on to answer questions or talk with you, hit that notifications button. and you'll know. Yeah, that's it. So please share, subscribe, and best of luck looking for properties. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I enjoy sharing it with you. So be sure to get the app. If you don't have it already, you can get it free on Android or pay $20 to get it on iOS. Do the best money you ever spent. It'll take you further along. You'll be able to share and catalog your properties, and it'll just make you a better, more organized investor. Thanks for watching.